Siva, I have a question for you, and you can start off after that. Sure. The way Ruben has explained this and Matt added to it, you clearly have to look at experience as one key goal, and you have to understand that capabilities are required, but they need to, in the core system, they need to be separated, they need to be detached from the experience, and then you need to put in something which you can use to leverage the capabilities from the back. To achieve this overall, so that you can have speed and you can have experience to deploy, how did the IT program office or the digital program office look at this, and what were their goals, how did they go about doing it, and what has been achieved at ED?
So, well, I think that's the million-dollar question any IT practitioner would have in their mind, right? And so powerful enough to certain times lose your sleep overnight, and of course, apart from your crying baby sometimes, in my case. So what we think, as Matt and Raj was alluding to earlier in the presentation, from a computing perspective and technology innovations that have happened over the last few years, we are in a much better position and shape to solve this challenge and be capable of doing that in a fashion we can be successful, right? So in our mind, so if you rewind a bit to the key points that this gentleman touched upon, it's about reimagining the experience and how you engage with your customer. Think of processes with a purpose, not just think of processes as to collect data or enable a particular IT function or a sales function to happen. And also leverage and reuse the investments that you have made over the years on your core systems, because ultimately those are needed as part of your business. You cannot get rid of them. They need to be there. So from that, we came across into, as you see, the three key capabilities that you need to concentrate on when you engage or when you start on a digital journey. One is engage with whether it's your customers, your stakeholders, whether it's your customers, your agents, or even your employees in a fashion that would enable them to do their business the best way they can. And whenever and wherever they want, of course, right? Second thing is make sure that you enrich those experiences. That's where you actually build your journey maps or experience journeys to make sure that whatever the end goal that they want to achieve, the purpose that they want to achieve, they are able to do it in a way which is not imposing on them, but it is natural. It is very guided, so that they don't need to go out or seek additional help to do it. And the third part is leverage your core assets, because all the multi-million-dollar investments, the IT investments that you have made on your core systems, your policy, your claim, your billing, you want to leverage that because they are key and core to your final the services that you provide. You want to leverage them in a fashion you are able to reuse and able to gain speed in getting those experiences into the market. So these were the three key capabilities that we identified that is needed for us when we engage in a digital journey. And most of the things that you would see going forward, we'll be talking in the context of the digital journey that we are doing at ED. So you would see the reference of ED down there at the center of many of the pictures that you would see. Now, I would like to take you a little bit further in depth into each of these items. So when we really talk about engage, think of one of the anecdote that Ben was sharing with me was one of the ED agents, and Ben and that area agent was in a dinner meeting. And as and when they were coming out of the dinner meeting, he got a call from one of his customers and asking for help because of some claim or loss that happened to him. And the agent did whatever he can, but at that point, he was not able to do anything other than direct, to him, one of the employees who may be able to access the system at their home or office, and then take the process from there. But not he himself be able to help, more than some consolations that can be provided. So that is how everybody, especially with your demography changing into more millennials and the Gen Z, the next generation that is coming into picture, they want service when and wherever they want. They are not ready to wait for to be into regular business hours, or that it's a weekend, so why don't you come back on Monday, then we will take care of you. They do not want that to happen.
I was just going to say, think about that particular item. You experience a claim. How silly does it sound to say, call me back during regular business hours?
Exactly, right? So, and consider that along with the different channels that you have to now deal with. If you talk about, as Matt mentioned, a decade ago, you didn't have any mobile phones. Web was the browser was the de facto way of communication through internet. Now, a few years back, mobile came into picture. Now there is social networks, Twitter, Facebook, and whatnot. And now we have smart cars, smart homes, smart everything, the Internet of Things. That's a lot of things that start crawling up out of the box and opening up the Pandora's box for us from an IT perspective. How do we handle each of these things? Not just the things that are here today, but also the things that are going to come up in the near future, right? So it may look like reading a crystal ball and trying to see, okay, what are the different things that are going to come up in the future and be ready for that. From an insurance IT perspective, you do not really want to do that. You would want to be able to leverage a platform or a solution that will enable you to seamlessly integrate with whatever the new channel that's going to come up for tomorrow. Not just the one that is here today, but that is going to come up tomorrow as well. And do it at a faster pace and a limited budget, as much limited budget as possible. Because you yourself, as an IT for an insurance carrier, not going to invest or invent newer ways of channels of connecting with your customers or agents or even your employees. There are multi-billion-dollar industries out there, companies like Microsoft, IBM, who are investing on that. So one of the key things from an IT practitioner's perspective is whatever the solution or platform that you decide upon as needed for your digital journey, they need to enable you to be future-proof, future-ready, as and when that becomes a part of your business, or need to incorporate that into your business. Okay.
Okay.
The next one is about the enrichment. Now, an immediate connection that you can make to that enrichment is to the previous slide of engagement. Is now you mentioned about all the different channels and the ways and the means by which your consumers, your agents, can interact with you. Now, do you think it would be fruitful or productive or less frustrating for them if you give a different experience each time they come through a different channel? Or do you think it would be much more less frustrating if they get a uniform experience, whether it is they are trying to contact you, pay a bill over your web, pay a bill over your mobile, or probably in the future tweet and pay your bill for that? Do you think that it would help for them to have that unified experience? I'm sure that you would agree with me there. So that's one of the dimensions that we need to think about. The second thing that you think about, if I take an Erie example, at Erie we want our agents to be superheroes to our customers, right? Especially at a time when insurance is considered as a commodity, or going to an agent's office is considered as something that you really don't want to do. Especially with the millennial generation coming in, who would not want to do any personal interaction as much as possible, but still get their work done. Just imagine how would you make an agent a superhero? You want them to be having information at their fingertips at the moment they want it to be. You want the changing the agent landscape. Now you don't have the millennials are coming into your agent force as well. So you have some of your experienced agents who knew, even if you wake them up in the middle of the night, they knew exactly what coverage is needed, what product is needed, what would be best to address their risk. And now that demography is changing as well. Newer generation is coming into your agency force. They are not as much familiar with the coverages or the insurance products that you offer. And so you want them to empower them by providing in the context of whatever they are trying to do, whether it is selling, whether it is servicing, whatever those actions may be. You want to provide them information that would easily call them out, and they can share it with their customer and saying, yeah, Brian, you had this baby last year, and have you thought about adding this additional thing? Or say that, I know that you had a claim in the past, and about a day back, how are things going? Have you been taken care of? I know that you have assigned this particular adjuster to you, so you know exactly how things are going, and be that superhuman to help them, right? Another important aspect, especially on a carrier who is depending upon independent agent network for their sales, is somebody who get a guided process, who can guide their customers in terms of understanding their holistic risk perspective, whatever the industry, whatever their core business may be, and helping them to guide, say that we have seen in this particular market area more and more people are buying this additional coverage. So have you thought about it? What do you think? This is the right limit for you. Have you thought about the losses that has happened? And help them through that context of whatever they are trying to do. One more point I just wanted to quickly mention, add on to what Ruben mentioned, Raj, is the choice of your platform or solution. These are capabilities that need to be able to be switched on. And being in IT, I know I'm just saying in a utopian world saying that it needs to be just switched on. But there are capabilities available to us, which more than we realize, that would enable that to be really be done in a fashion of switching on a particular channel or particular capability or leveraging a particular experience as and when we need. So that should be a clear architectural assumption, architectural direction that you consider when you're starting on a digital journey. This is the last part of what we said as the key capabilities that need to be, that is leveraging your core systems. And Ruben and Matt both touched upon the bimodal things of what Gartner says, the bimodal way of things changing. On the experience side, on your user interface, user experience side, things are changing, going to be much fluctuating, much changes happening, more channels going to come in the future. So there is a lot of fluidity, there is a lot of fast action that you need to do there. But if you think about your core insurance processes, over the years, if you think there has not much changes that has happened on how you quote, how you sell. I'm saying the core processes, not at the front end. And that has been kind of a little more slow to change. Now, the important part is to provide those enriching experiences at the front. You cannot really tie them strongly back into your core services or core system capabilities. The core system workflows are more disciplined, more rigid in a way to achieve that back office operation. But at the point of sale or at the point of service, you may want a much flexible, fluid, and you may want to collect information in a very different fashion as would be instituted by your core systems. So it is very important to separate those out, that fluidity in the front end and the rigidness of the back end, and have an architectural component involved which allows you to separate it out. Again, I'm not talking about Noah's magic wand, which separates the water, but I'm talking about a capability as APIs and API gateways, which exposes your core capabilities that you have built over the years to enable the experience to be provided in the front end. But that is a clear separation, very critical for us to be successful in our journeys.